Hello and welcome to the BizzyWebinar for July 2nd, 2014. Today we're going to talk about email marketing. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to go through today, so it's probably going to be a little bit outside of our normal schedule where we do a half hour. We've got so much content coming that we're going to need to really kind of watch what we do. We'll go through very quickly a little bit about BizzyWeb, who we are, what we do. We'll talk about effective email marketing, of course, especially what are campaigns and newsletters, and then go into details on email. And if we have time, we'll get into email plus social media and how the two can work together. We do have some folks in-house here, so at about that half-hour mark, we're going to free them up to go grab their pizza from Broadway Pizza, who is sponsoring today's event. So thank you, folks, for joining us. By all means, feel free to post questions live. The way to do that is to go to BizzyWeb.com/BB or visit the BizzyWeb homepage. And from that homepage, you can click on the article. And from the article, you just click on the button to do the Q&A tool. You'll need to be logged into Google Plus in order to do that. Or you can just go to google.com/plusBizzyWeb to be prompted to join Google Plus. And then you can ask questions again through that Q&A tool. We have operators standing by that are going to be watching and texting me if there are any questions. But like I said, this is going to be a fast and furious event because we have a lot to get to. As we go through, BizzyWeb, of course, is a web design and social media company. We do the best dang web design, we think, building using the tool called WordPress. And from WordPress, we're able to cross-post into all of the social networks. So what we do with our clients is we help them save time and money and market more effectively for what they do online, whether they're a trampoline park like Zero Gravity on the left, or they're a forklift sales and service salon like Bennett Material Handling, or a lawn service, or even a accountant like Bertolis and Piculo on the far right. We build it all together into one online marketing strategy for you so that you can take the next step and generate buzz without getting stung. Social media accounts are also part of what we do, of course, so we build out LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus pages and customize all those for our clients. Make it simple and easy to reach out and connect with people where they do business. Here we are. Let's talk about email marketing, and I'm going to switch my presentation now to that email marketing deck. And so let's get to business. BizzyWeb is a constant contact rep, and so what that means for you is that we can handle all of your email marketing needs. And over the past couple of months, Constant Contact has really ramped things up with what they're calling Toolkit. So you used to be able to just send out emails with Constant Contact, but now you can create and develop surveys, manage and handle events, connect with folks, and of course do email campaigns, including drip email style campaigns where you're sending out 6 or 8 messages after each person in your list joins. So if you find someone and they come across your newsletter or your website and they sign up to get a hold of you, or if you run across their business card and you enter them into this, they'll get a series of emails based on what you set up, and that'll help you reach out and connect with them on a more proactive way, or in a more proactive manner. So makes it super simple, and again, it's really powerful, which is why we're excited to work with Constant Contact now, because it's doing a whole lot more, a whole lot faster. So with email, one of the big things that folks ask us is, what do you even write about? You know, the key is you want to write about what you know that other folks really don't know. So for realtors, for example, it's going to be, you know, what's hot in the market, what makes a house saleable, quick tips to, you know, bridge up, you know, the old thing about baking cookies right before you walk in, right before you do an open house on a house. You know, what are you going to do to be as saleable as possible? You have content or you have stuff that they don't, and so make sure that you've got information that's handy to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be original in email. With search engine optimization on websites, it's really handy to have completely unique content. But feel free to pick up and to subscribe to different newsletters and share some of that stuff, because the key is you just want to be interesting to your clients in email marketing. As far as how much is enough, you really want to focus on what you do. The fewer options you give them in email, and I'll talk about the 222 theory in a couple of minutes, But with email marketing, especially now in the world of mobile marketing, you need to be brief, you need to get to the point, and folks are browsing on a 5-inch or less screen now. So you really need to just hit them. You can't say, latest on Pat's Spunky newsletter, because they won't get past latest on Pat's. So you'll say, your house is on fire, 3 things that you need to know, blah, blah, blah. So whatever they'll be able to see inside of, just a couple of seconds and bridge that across. So you really need to focus on what you do. And then also pictures are very important. When you look at this, there's great examples of what folks are doing on these slides. So, time, October specials, fallen in, apple cheddar salad, maximize your marketing campaign, a most unusual evening, save the date. All of these, as you look at these on different devices, and you kind of have to think about that, some of these actually work better than others because you have to zoom in and out. And if you have to zoom, you're probably losing some of your market. And so, probably a better option is to include and just make sure that you focus on what those images can be. Pictures get 47% more click-through, but don't rely on images because some folks may have imagery turned off in their browsers, especially on their phone. If they happen to be up north at the cabin and they don't have very good reception, they're just going to turn off all of that stuff. So if you have images and you don't say anything else, you're just losing those folks. Text labels on those images can help fix that, but again, you can't rely solely on images. It has to be a balance where you talk a little bit about what's in your images. So on that most unusual evening, you're getting the top of the legs there on House 307 POD. So it says here they've got their images shut off on this mobile device, and so you just see a little black box. And so at least they're saying here, we're a family under one sky, happy summer. But if you go in here and if you're not doing this well, NB Fitness, what's that? You have to scroll around and browse, and a lot of times people just aren't going to take that extra step to pinch and zoom and get all crazy in order to figure out what your message is. Pictures, if you have a lot of visuals on your website, it can really help you, but it's become more and more relevant, especially as we talk in a couple of moments about how to bridge in and do social media marketing. If you have a lot of great images, you can pin that stuff onto your Pinterest page if you want, or connect on Facebook or any of the other networks. Make sure that you bridge that out so that people get it. As you repurpose and reuse your content, feel free to share your email on Pinterest or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram even if you wanted to get that crazy, and to share across, here's something that's connected. And one of the neat things about Constant Contact is that it does seamlessly integrate with a lot of the social networking tools. So whenever you publish something on that, or whenever you send out that email, you can click a box and have it share on Facebook. Or when people are in that email, if they find something really amazing, they can click and share your email content on Facebook as well. So they can share across or share that with their buddy. If they're like, oh yes, here's what you need to know in Brooklyn Park. Like if you have a friend that's selling something in Brooklyn Park, maybe they would share that with their buddy. So it can work really well. The things to think about as people are putting together email, and again, I'm going really fast because we have a lot of content to check out on here. You need to know your from, your subject, and when you need to send your email. So from is more important than ever. You can't just have this say that your email is from some faceless, nameless corporation. So folks that are subscribed to BizzyWeb's emails, for example, probably have noticed over the past few months, I stopped saying new from BizzyWeb or having it say BizzyWeb sales, because if you're looking at that email, a lot of times on mobile devices in particular, all you're seeing is BizzyWeb sales. Like if you're looking at it and you're browsing down, you're not even looking at what the text of that message is. So a lot more folks know Dave Meyer, so it always comes from Dave Meyer, even though that email box is still sales at. So I just tell it to say who it's really from, and a person is always better. The subject is really how you're going to hook folks, and you have to be incredibly quick in what your subject is, so you don't want to back into it, because again, you really only have 5 or 6 words to grab their attention on a small device. And As far as when to send the communication, we're going to have to test this and see. And you can split your list into different groupings and see. So if you send it on a Monday or a Wednesday, are you going to get more traffic on a Monday or a Wednesday? And then once you figure out, yes, Wednesday gets way more clicks, if you send it out at 9 a.m. or 3 p.m., which one's going to be which one's going to have the best click-through rates? And you can't really get lulled into how many clicks you get or how many visits you get. It's how many actions you're really getting. So if you've got an email that drives towards some specific action to get them to move onto your website or register for an event, for example, for the BizzyWebinars, if you move to that and you get a lot of visits but nobody's taking that next step, you still have to adjust what you're doing and how you're doing it. Who is it from? Again, this is the battle of priorities, how to be most instantly recognizable. An interesting thing about the CanSpam Act, which you've probably heard about if you've played in email at all, this is back in 97 or 98 that the U.S. legislature basically illegalized spam email in the CanSpam Act. And if you send out the wrong types of emails, you can actually get fined up to $10,000 per email. Now, if you're sending out to millions of people like banks do, for example, that could be a pretty sizable ding against you. But in general, the enforcement is very weak on CanSpam, but you don't want to be sending out things that are illegal. And in order to hit CanSpam or in order to comply with CanSpam, you really just have to have a name and address on the email account. You need to have an unsubscribe button on your email, and you need to have a real physical address for people to associate with your company as part of that email. That's just weird things, and that's pretty much to combat all the people that are sending out all the spam. Again, it doesn't stop them, but at least we feel better saying, you're really wrong doing that. So, that's kind of how it works. Brand consistency is really important on all of your emails, so making sure that you're looking at how your emails look and you're connecting that it makes sense with your brand, with all of your other social media posts. You'll note that BizzyWeb has a lot of consistency across all of our networks. So our Facebook page looks like our emails, looks like our website, looks like our Twitter account. Making sure that wherever people might happen across you, they understand that it's your company and you is going to be really important. Again, for realtors, having your picture on everything is going to be important because they know you. So on the subject line, here's the 2-2-2 rule. You have 2 seconds to really win people's attention, and in the first 2 words, you have to grab that real attention because that's about all you're going to get on that first click, right? So as people are looking at it on their itty-bitty little iPhone or their Android, they have to do that. And then you have to give them the next step to do what they need to take action on today. So as that goes in, that's really important. So 2 seconds, 2 words, and what can they do today? And this is really kind of paying itself out in one of the other examples that I've heard. A friend that does a ton of email marketing, or is actually like the area rep on Constant Contact. He says, he was doing some things with Habitat for Humanity. And normally they would just say, here's our Wednesday newsletter and here's what you need to know from Habitat for Humanity. They changed it up because they had an urgent item. They had almost nobody that was going to be helping them build a house the next day. And so they said, bring your hammers, we need you tomorrow morning. And that made all the difference. If somebody would have just read that and said, oh, it's a newsletter, I'll get back to it later, they actually saw, they saw it and said, whoa, what's going on? You need a hammer right tomorrow morning? Well, it just so happens that I have some time tomorrow morning. So they actually had like 6, 7 people show up that wouldn't have if they never said that. So making sure that you always tie it in. And then, okay, back on here. To win the battle of priorities, you really need to hit that. And actually, I just talked about that. So instead of March newsletter, tomorrow, need 3 hammers. Can you help? Joe's Pet Store newsletter. Alert, help your dog beat the heat. Instead of children's classes, say still time, openings available for children's classes. So bridging that in. So you just have to kind of say when you're sending an email, and this works in all email communication, by the way. There's so much competition in all of the emails that we get. making sure that it's actionable and you get right to the point inside the subject line of every email that you send is incredibly important. Of course, when you're sending massive amounts of emails or when you're trying to send out an email newsletter or a campaign, this is where you really get that leverage to have it work better. We talked a little bit about when, and for most folks, monthly is common for a newsletter, but again, when are people most likely to take the action that you want? So folks a lot of times will tend to tune out on Thursdays and Fridays in the summer. So maybe you want to hit them probably not on a Monday, but maybe on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. As a matter of fact, research has said that for most corporate folks, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. tends to be one of the best times to actually get your content read. So if you're looking at that, but again, you have to test it, because for some folks, like we have clients that do day work, like one of our best clients is a lawn mowing service. He's out in the field all day long, so sending a message out to him during the day is going to guarantee that it's like 20 messages deep in what you're sending. So sending it out at 6 or 7 p.m. or 6 or 7 a.m. might be a better way to reach them, because they check in first thing in the morning or last thing at night before they tune out. So bringing that in. Finding your best day, again, 3 groups of people, 3 days in the week, and then send your email and watch for that best response. Clicking doesn't necessarily equate, or opening doesn't necessarily equate to response. Find what you're doing and find how that works. The next step then is to find your best time by using those same 3 groups and then doing 3 different times of day and sending that email and note which email, again, has the best response. Using a tool like Constant Contact, that makes it pretty easy, but even if you're sending out static emails, note, okay, well, Bill didn't respond to me for like 2 days when I sent him that one. So like taking this and kind of using it is helpful. Again, we talked about measuring actions and bridging through that. So make sure that you're careful with not being romanced by, wow, 60 people opened up this email. If nobody did what you wanted them to do, you're still probably hitting it at the wrong time, because if they need to come back to it and think about it, and it's first thing in the morning, there's probably something that happened there. So leads into a little bit of practical advice. Most folks, 2/3, don't see images by default, so while having images is really important, making sure that you bridge for this and that you're building it so that it works both ways is really important. Text links get more clicks than buttons, so if you place it over and you put a bunch of buttons on the site, it doesn't work quite as well, because again, you're thinking about, if it's underlined and I can hit it with my thumb, I'm probably going to open it up. And depending on who you ask, 27%, as many as 27% of people don't go on the web at all on computers anymore. They're mostly just browsing on their phones. And in in searches, period, 80% of emails or 80% of searches originate on mobile devices now. So people are going into their phone, and if you think about how you do it on a daily basis, even if you're sitting in front of the TV or at night or at the dinner table, God help you if you're checking email during your dinner. But when people click on that, you think of something and you look it up right there, because we always have Google in our hands. So making sure that you're out there. Make sure that your logo is left or center in the email, because that's just kind of how the browser works and how it displays. You probably only have about a 1/4 inch, depending on the email device that you're looking at. If in iPhones, for example, a lot of times they're set up so that they have a left-aligned list of messages, and then you get just like a little corner or a little window of that email to browse and see what's happening inside of that email. So making sure that you put all of the stuff that's most important, who you are, what you are, and the content that you want, in that upper left part in the note. And again, make sure that you include your company name in the text of that email so that people get where it's coming from. The key action should be above the scroll line. Don't give too many choices, and make images clickable. You're writing and thinking about for mobile devices as much as anything else, so make sure that you bridge that in. So any questions? I'm going to move into email and social, but just wanted to check with everyone and give everyone a chance that's online to queue in and to ask anything. So if there are any questions, be sure to let me know for the back office. And I don't see anything yet, so I think we're good. Everybody in the room's fine? Awesome. So next up, email and social. So what does all of this mean as you bridge across into social media? You know, in the old days, 10% of folks were using social media marketing, and that's in 2008, incidentally, when BizzyWeb made the full push into a full venture. Now, it's pretty much flipped. 87% of small businesses are reporting using social media marketing. So they're checking in, they're connecting, they're doing what they need to do using social media. Social media is the way everybody connects and finds out about everything now. You're checking in and you're getting referrals from friends on anything that you want to do. You're doing research online to confirm if this company really is great or if you hear anything about them. You're doing searches to check in and see if folks are for real. Part of it's because of all the spam in the world, right? So as you're looking out, there's a lot of crap out on the web and out in emails. And so offering that social proof and having a dedicated network behind you can really help you grow and build what you need. So building it, you really just do have to use both email and social. So social can amplify your email and email can amplify your social results. When people look at you, they're either going to see you on your email account or in their email and then decide to check out your Facebook page or your LinkedIn, or they're going to do vice versa. They'll find you, they'll register for your online newsletter, and that's how you're going to get a hold of them. With Facebook in particular, they've given a ton of ammo to email marketers and basically everyone else, because Facebook, the likelihood that you're going to get read by posting to a Facebook page has dropped massively in the past 6 months. The edge rank is what they call that. And when you post on your Facebook page for your company, it used to be that about 60 to 70% of people that had clicked like on your page would actually see that, and now it's about 3%. So they've dramatically reduced that, in part to give more leverage to their online marketing stuff so that you have to pay to advertise to actually reach those people. But what that means in the real world is that folks are relying a lot more on email marketing, on other tools to reach out and to connect with folks where they know it's going to make a difference. Here's some examples of folks that are doing some great social integration. So you look, this Globally Inspires Buloko is doing stuff, and they've got their email up in this corner, and then this bridges across on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube, and you can see how all of those folks are doing, or what they're doing across all of these. So a lot of the content stays the same, a lot of it publishes across to all of those networks, and that lets people really dig deeper into the content that you're interested in. It also lets you take a little bit of the pressure off of that email. You don't have to publish nearly as much in your email. Think of it as more of a teaser for, click to find out more on our website, or follow us on Facebook for more helpful information or details, and takes that to the next step. Same thing with Girl Scouts, and so they're doing all kinds of things. They're doing, Dear Girl Scout friends, we're so looking forward to seeing many of you at a kickoff, and then you can see, and it goes, and they have posts on how all of these things work. So it relates to the content, and it relates to other things that they're doing online. With Tax Talk, they do the same thing. They have an entire newsletter. You can see that a lot of the content, and it doesn't show very well in the actual screen grabs, but this pulls together and you can see a lot more and kind of dig deeper. So emails, websites, and social media, none of these exist in a vacuum anymore. Looking at the BizzyWeb wall over on the side, this is all the stuff that you have to take into account when you're building an online marketing strategy. Finally, next steps. Where do we go from here? Remember that there's simple ways to share all of these tools. So, for example, with Constant Contact, you can just sign up for Constant Contact and have it bridge across to all of those networks. It actually guides you through this. BizzyWeb looked at a lot of different tools. We used to use MailChimp exclusively for all of our tools because there's a lower price point to get in at the very beginning. But as soon as you get beyond about 2,000 emails, Constant Contact is actually much cheaper. And then when Toolkit came out and merged all of the biggest tools that we need to help our customers reach out, when Toolkit came out and merged all that together, it made life a whole lot easier for us and for our clients. So that's why we decided to lean over to Constant Contact. You now have tools to expand that reach. So there's social media buttons that are built right into email, so you can bridge, share, and connect. And there's ways to register to check in at on tools, so you could actually do like a text messaging integration, where you can just select an email, or as part of that email you can just say scan this, or click on this QR code, or visit this link to register automatically online. There's web sign-up tools now, so you can include, here's some examples of how these look. On Facebook, there's an actual tool in Constant Contact that you can build right in, and that just has the tab right inside of it. And it takes a lot of the heavy lifting off of what you have to do otherwise. And then, we talked about the text to join or scan to join. That's to get people right onto your email marketing list. Apps like iCapture, Shoeboxed, WiseStamp help you really build all of that stuff across. Haven't played with any of these yet, but they're available, and some folks online have heard of those, so I wanted to be sure to mention them. And then as you're building this, a handy way to make sure that you're covering what you need. And again, this is kind of next level stuff, and a lot of my clients are walking or just learning to walk in social media and online marketing. But once you get really good at it, you can see like the golden posts is their regular newsletter. So on the 30th of the month, they send out an email newsletter that includes email, Facebook, and Twitter posts. They have a blog post on the 2nd of every month that talks about a bunch of things. So tips for spring, newsletter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And then they have theme days every Monday. So they talk through and they just talk about what's happening, what's cool. Motivation Monday, so it's a theme thing. Multimedia, they have staff picks on the 16th and the 24th. They're just making sure to kind of bridge out so that they're connecting with their clients. Not all of these hit everyone in all of their newsletter lists, or everyone that connects with them, everybody that likes them on Facebook, but they're publishing something somewhere quite often. And that's kind of the point. In order to reach people in online marketing, you need a tool that can help you bridge out and reach out across multiple networks in order to have it really work for you. So that's pretty much it for the presentation. I talked really fast and hit you guys with a lot of stuff, but the key thing to note is that it's not a big deal. If you work with somebody that can help you out, it can be really helpful. Here's some links if you want to check out more about Constant Contact. If you're interested in working with BizzyWeb on Constant Contact, we actually set up our accounts for our clients, and it's the exact same price whether you go through us or go through Constant Contact. And there's a lot more seminars and details. So I'm going to put out one of these email presentations. This was kind of the catch-all. We're going to dig deeper into each of these in subsequent months. So at least one time a month I'm going to be talking about something around email marketing. So let's get back into the final details on this. And then in wrap up, remember that BizzyWeb helps you with web design, social media, integration, online marketing, and we build our clients' websites to do a few things. One is to make sure that we grab attention inside of the first 10 seconds of building a website. So you'll see on the BizzyWeb website in particular, and on a lot of our client websites, we grab your attention and we tell people inside of the first 10 seconds the 3 things that you need to know. And if you're not doing that when people visit your website, they're probably going to wander off elsewhere. Bounce rate is what that's called. And if you have a high bounce rate on your website, that means that somebody's visiting your website, they either get overwhelmed or they get bored and they click somewhere else and you've lost that lead. We like to build all of our client websites so that they generate leads and buzz and bring people in. So we give them regular calls to action, make sure that you know the next step to take, and we drive people to either subscribe for a newsletter, join us on Facebook, like us, or for BizzyWeb, attend a webinar to come in and check us out, a BizzyWebinar. Hosting is also part of our bailiwick, so if you're on WordPress and you don't have, and you're not hosted by BizzyWeb, by goodness, you need to talk to us because we take care of a lot of great things for you. And we build all of this stuff for you. Jessica thought it would be funny if that was if they had a picture of me on here. And so there I am. That's Dave Meyer. And we build optimized websites for social content. We help folks with social media. We do online marketing, search engine optimization, and marketing. We actually have a big program announcement or platform announcement that we're going to be letting loose along with our open house at the end of this month. On July 31st, everyone's invited to join us in person right here at the Edina Realty BizzyWeb headquarters and see what BizzyWeb's up to and enjoy some pizza and some festivities on us because we're going to have a really cool event. Every Wednesday, we're talking about things on BizzyWebinars. So if you haven't registered, be sure to register in advance and you'll get links and invitations. If you can join us in person, we'll bridge across and bring you some pizza. And when you just heard that ding, that was our pizza delivery. So for folks that are here in person, your pizza is awaiting, and we're going to close up the presentation in just a moment. Next week, we're going to talk about color theory for web and branding. This is going to be an online-only event. I'm actually going to be out camping in the wilds of Park Rapids with my son at a Boy Scout camp. So Andy on the BizzyWeb team is going to be presenting. He's brilliant as a presenter, knows what he's talking about, and he's going to talk about how colors can change people's perception of brands, of websites, and the difference between a calming blue and a very aggressive red, for example, and what that can mean to bridge you in. So very, very interesting, and I think it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to tuning in from Park Rapids and see how that goes. So be sure to go to BizzyWeb.com/BB to register and watch. Each week's event is posted to YouTube, and the more we can help you, the better we can do for you. So make sure when you register to tell us what you're interested in, and as part of your cost for the price of pizza, I want to know what the folks in the room want to hear about so that we can be as helpful as possible. Finally, be sure to fill out your Buzz report if you do have an online marketing presence and you're wondering where to take it next. If you go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, our professionals will look through your website, your online marketing, your social media, your search engine optimization and rankings, and we're going to put together a report that will tell you what you're doing well and what you could grow on, as well as some next steps. So the easy things. One of the hardest things in social media and online marketing in general is figuring out what to do because there are so many screaming and different opinions that sometimes it just helps to have somebody that you can trust talk to you and walk you through it. That's what we do with our BizzyWeb process. Again, I am Dave Meyer. This is your last chance for questions, so if you do have any questions, be sure to shoot those in or join us live now on the Hangout. I'm going to keep the Hangout window open, so you'll need to join us live in order to ask questions. I am going to close down the webinar, however, the broadcast webinar, because that's saved over to YouTube. So the YouTube part is closing up now. Join us live on the Hangout if you'd like to join us. Talk to us. We'll talk to you next week to talk about color theory in online marketing, and would love to see you there. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, reminding you that at BizzyWeb we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a fantastic week, and talk to you next time.